All right, ready to get started with our fourth team of the day. We'll start with the Arizona student athletes. We have Kadeem Allen and Alonzo Trier. And guys, we've got a couple of guys with mics out there. We'll have everybody put up hands. Just give us your name and affiliation for a question, and we're ready to get started. Who's going to be first? Go up front here, Ed. And then we'll get either. No.
Ed Graney, Review-Journal. Alonzo, can you take me through, as you're sitting, how confident, one, you'd be back, and two, but just the mental state of having to show up every day, having to be there mentally every day, not knowing when it's going to end, and kind of how you grew from that, and what it kind of helped make you in terms of going forward with your life?
It's an interesting question. I obviously it made me mature a lot. It's a situation that nobody's really used to going through, and it's kind of different. But I think it allowed me to just try to find ways to engage in the game and engage with my teammates and be locked in even though I wasn't playing. And then having hope that, eventually I would be able to get out there and play the game that I love and be a part of the game with my teammates. And then when I get that opportunity, that I would be ready because I was engaged with my teammates. So I think that's the best way I can answer that question.
Stay right there on the left.
Craig Fouie, ABC in Phoenix. Can you guys talk about Savage Life and what that means to you guys individually? I know you've talked about it a million times already, but now you're on a different stage.
I'm not in it, so I have no comments on what it means or anything like that.
Yeah, I really can't talk on it. I don't really know. Just a term one of our players came up with, and we just roll with it.
Yes. Ed, you want to go again?
It's a great answer. To go into, was there a time maybe late at night or you're sleeping whatever thinking, this isn't happening? Like, I'm not getting back. I mean, did you have to go through tough times like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times where, it gets to you, and it's more when you're kind of by yourself and you're in your room and you're sitting there and, you don't know when things are going to take a good turn for you. You're frustrated, you're sad, and, you can get emotional. But, I prayed, and I'm very thankful to God that I had the opportunity to play again, and then things have worked out to lead me to where I'm at right now. So, yeah, very blessed, I would say.
Go on the left against the wall.
For both of you guys, have you guys noticed how any changes in Lowry as the year has gone on in terms of him, kind of opening it up more and kind of getting more comfortable with being part of the program and his personality kind of showing itself a little more?
Well, he opened up a lot more when he first came here, and he had to get comfortable to everyone and adapt to us, and but as the year went on and everything went how it went well for him and for our team, he just became himself. He's a great kid and one of the best kids I've ever been around, and funny guy. So, but his roommate maybe could tell you a lot more about him. So.
Yeah, Lowry has grown and he's adapted, and to the culture here, and he's learned like every freshman does when they go through over the course of a season in college basketball. So as you would expect, his game has expanded. He's added things that have brought new elements to our team and have helped us. So we're very grateful to have somebody like him on our basketball team.
Stay right there.
I heard he has a pretty good Borat impression too. Is that true? As his roommate?
Yeah, that's I guess that's his favorite movie or so. So he does impressions very well to that movie.
Go on the third row on the left.
Kadeem, can you talk about a little bit of the struggles last week against St. Mary's and now what the focus is now moving forward to tomorrow night?
They're a very good team, and we had to adapt and adjust to the way they play the game. I really want to say quite it was a struggle. They were just a good basketball team, and they were making good plays, and we just had to capitalize on the things that we done, and at the end of the day, we got the job done, and we won the basketball game. So congrats to them for making it there, but we just put it together, and for this week, they're a very good basketball team. They've been in the NCAA tournament 11 times out of the 11 out of 12. Yeah, 11 out of the last 12, and every other year they make it to the Sweet 16. So they're a good basketball team, well-coached team, and we just have to come in tomorrow, be prepared and ready for a battle.
Any questions? Anything else? We good? Ed, one more. Just grab the mic so it goes on there.
Did you care what people thought? As you're going through the whole thing and the headlines and everything, or did you have to block everything out?
Did I care about what people
Well,
thought?
yeah, the
what?
outside people thought. When it came out, it was a test and everything. Do you think, boy, people are going to think this about me, or could you have to block that out and say, I'm just going to, I know what
The
happened?
people that mattered to me most and they were all, knew the truth, and that's all that matters to me.
So the headlines and stuff nothing bothered you?
They were going to do what they're due to make a headline and make it juicy and make a story out of it. That is what it is.
Kadeem, how as a teammate did you try to help him as teammates as he went through it? How did you help him as a teammate?
As a team, coaching staff, everyone was by his side through the whole thing, and like he said, we knew the truth, and you know the truth came out, and he's playing now. We're happy to have him back, and we're just trying to make a run in the tournament.
We'll do another one question in the back right.
Hey guys, Jim Thornby with the Pac-12. How much did running through the tournament and beating UCLA and beating Oregon, how much did that give you guys confidence heading into this tournament?
I don't think it gave us any more confidence. We believed in ourselves a great deal, but I think it showed kind of people to how good of a basketball team we were to be able to make a run like that, to win 3 straight games and beat 3 quality teams in a row. It showed how together we were, showed how tough we were, and and we believe in ourselves a great deal, and we're a very confident team, and I think we put that on display in that tournament.
Kadeem, same question.
Just piggyback off what he said. They're good teams, and we just went in there, fought, did what we did. Nothing was easy, but we just stuck what we did all season long, and just came out with the wins.
And then battling those teams, is it any surprise to you to see all 3 of you guys still alive in the Sweet 16?
No, they're all very good teams, and we've all battled each other hard throughout the year in the conference, and we wish them the best luck, and we're all representing the conference well, so that's great.
Good. Any last one? Nope. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Just a reminder, the Arizona locker room is currently open, and we'll have Coach Miller in a few minutes. Maybe just give it a few. All right, we'll welcome Arizona head coach Sean Miller to the dais, and we'll have Coach give a quick opening statement. Then we'll open it up to questions, and just give us your name and affiliation when you ask a question. Coach?
Well, we're very excited to be here. Obviously, I know the storyline is Xavier in Arizona, and certainly the past connection with me being at Xavier for 8 years. I think if this was the first time that this happened, it would probably be a more appropriate or bigger story. But how this has happened twice in the last 3 years or 2 years is amazing to me. You know, if it happened in the NCAA tournament, I think that's improbable enough. But to be here in the Sweet 16 round, 2 of the last 3 years against these guys, you know, I wish it was different, but it isn't. And now that I've said that, you know, the focus clearly is on both teams, the players, the great players on both teams. And I think, you know, both programs vying to stay alive and trying to advance. But we're excited to be here in San Jose, state of California. You know, we had a practice earlier today at Aaron Gordon's high school, brought back a lot of great memories for us. And looking forward to playing a really, really good team and a very, very well-coached team tomorrow.
All right, we'll go on the left against the wall.
Hey, Sean. Tim Bunch from the Washington Post. Have you seen Lowry's confidence and kind of his comfort level grow as the season's gone on, just kind of assimilate into being here, and how has that impacted the way he's been able to play for you?
Well, I think one of Lowry's great strengths as a player is the fact that his confidence does not waver. He's been confident from day one, and he remains confident right now. And one of the main aspects of him being such a confident player is, although he is a phenomenal three-point shooter, it's not the only thing that he does. And he really has tried to embrace the other aspects of the game to add to what he has always done well, which is shoot the three-point shot. He's much more well-versed on offense and on defense around the rim. He's become a very good defensive player. Even in the last month, he's really grown because of the variety of players that he's defended. And we've asked him to score more around the basket, and he's responded. So, you know, he's as versatile of a player that I've coached, and I think he's, you know, one of our nation's best. Certainly we wouldn't be here today or have the record or the season that we have under our belt if Lowry wasn't with us for every game this year, and he has. He's been the one constant. No, he has. That's not easy. You know, English isn't his first language. But, you know, Lowry's father, Pekka, played at Kansas, so he played college basketball. He lived in the United States. So Lowry came here, I think, through his father really understanding what it was about. And he came here with a clear purpose to develop and gain a lot of great characteristics that you can gain by playing in the NCAA and college basketball, in addition to FIBA, which he has a lot of experience in. Lowry, just so you know, is also an incredible student. I mean, in the time that he's been with us, he might have 1 B. I mean, he's equally adept in the classroom as he is on the court, and he's a great teammate and a great kid. His future is incredibly bright.
On the left, fourth row.
Yeah, hey, Sean, Dan Wolken from USA Today. Curious, your impression of West Coast players from the time you got to Arizona to now in recruiting, has it changed at all? And, you know, I know you guys recruit nationally, you recruit internationally, but do you think that the Pac-12 resurgence is related at all to an uptick in talent?
No, I mean, East Coast, West Coast, you know, I mean, it's hard to stereotype. You know, there's some really skilled players in the East or Midwest that are, you know, not physical and soft. There are some incredibly physical, tough-minded, non-skilled players in the West. I give you those two because if you stereotype, you know, West Coast is usually the softer and everybody else is tougher. But we're in San Jose. Aaron Gordon, he didn't lack for toughness or physicality in the way he played. But I think the Pac-12 does not get enough credit for the amazing amount of talent that has gone through, not just 20 years ago, but let's take a look at this year's NBA All-Star game. I think you had four players from the Pac-12 that were playing in this year's NBA All-Star game. So my first or second year at Arizona, if you went to play Washington in Washington State in two games in 3 days, you would run into Isaiah Thomas and Klay Thompson in back-to-back. You head over to UCLA, you got Russell Westbrook. And clearly our program, Arizona, we've had quite a few. So not all of them I know grew up in the West, but this year's another example. If you look at the teams that remain in the tournament, Oregon, UCLA, and Arizona, there's quite a few, I think, top-level players.
Straight ahead,
Hey,
second
Sean,
row.
Ed Graney, Review Journal. Coaches talk about adversity, how kids react in the worst moments. What about two parts? One, what about Alonzo's makeup told you he'd be okay when and if he came back, and how he handled the whole suspension? And also, two, in a weird sort of way, did that time away allow you now maybe to trust or give more guys minutes this week or beyond that maybe in the past you wouldn't have had because he would have been playing?
Yeah, Alonzo missed 19 games. We did not have a crystal ball. There was no guarantee that he was going to come back in 12, 20, ever. But his love of the game transcended anything else. He worked hard every day in practice. The fact that he was allowed to practice was both good for him and his psyche, but also our team. And then when he was able to return to our team, it wasn't as if he was injured or disconnected. The only thing that he wasn't able to do at that point is play in the games. But if you miss 19 games and everybody else has played roughly 19, you don't just flip a switch and say, here I am. We definitely went through a period of time where we had to kind of renew the roles and figure out what would be best for our team. But that period of time ended several weeks back, and regardless of how we play tomorrow night, this is the best version of us that we've had all year, because we are at full strength, and I think that from Alonzo on down, we have things in my mind, the roles that our team and players should have. We're in those roles right now, so hopefully we can keep getting better and bring out the best in everybody.
Stay right there, just over to the left.
Jim Wozarski with the Cincinnati Enquirer, Coach. Off your opening statement, what have you? I imagine you're more than just a partial observer of Xavier basketball. I mean, what have you seen Chris do through the years and maybe even this year? You mentioned adversity. I know he's had injuries and a suspension of Miles Davis and that type of thing. I guess, how have you watched him in general and then this year specifically?
Well, of course, I watch Xavier every chance that I can. A big fan. Love that place. I see Joe and Byron out there in the crowd. The friendships that my family and I have, we still have today. I don't get back to that area very often, only because it's not easy to, being that we now live in Arizona. But first of all, Chris Mack has led Xavier to 4 Sweet 16s in the last 8 years. There aren't many coaches that can say that, and our players, and I'm sure you got this when you talk to them, they know that Xavier has been to 11 of the last 12 NCAA tournaments. They know that a year ago Xavier was the number 2 seed. That right now they're closer to being in like 3 or 4 Sweet 16s in a row than they are any other way. What they just did, they dismantled their bracket. It wasn't a close game at all in the last game against Florida State, and Florida State has one of the more talented teams in this tournament. So it's so much about, in March, being at your best than, how you've been all year. And the injury that they overcame from Sumner, I've watched them reinvent themselves by changing defenses, playing more zone. Macura and Blewett, I think, are 2 just outstanding players. But Chris Mack is one of our game's bright coaches, great coaches. He's not my former assistant. He stands on his own 2 feet, and his record and what he's done speaks for itself. And I don't know if I've seen a coach take a team that had lost a number in a row and lost such a terrific player and now flip it and have them playing at such a high level. We're playing against one of the hottest teams that's remaining in the tournament, and if last weekend is any indication of where they're at, it's scary for anybody that's going to play against them. So I give a lot of credit to Chris and the staff, their team and players, but also Xavier. It's a special place who loves college basketball, and it just seems like they bring out the best in everybody.
Stay right
Coach
there.
Craig Fouhy, ABC and Phoenix. How do these two teams match up tomorrow night, and how do you see this? What's it going to take to get a win tomorrow?
Well, Xavier is a great rebounding team because of such change and the injury and all the different things that they've had to deal with. I think that's lost sometimes. They rebound toe-to-toe on defense and on offense with any team that we've played. Matter of fact, they might be one of the best overall rebounding teams that we've played. And we're going to have to be able to answer the bell in that one area. Macura and Blewett are experienced. Their coaching staff does a great job of creating set plays and action to get them shots. And when Xavier is on defense, and that's probably the biggest thing that's changed, really they're playing 3 different defenses. And you have to recognize the defense they're in. You have to make sure that you can handle the ball and get good shots. And, J.P. Macura, he is just a knack of being able to deflect the ball and steal it. And he's a nuisance in a really good way, So we can't let him affect the game of disrupting us regardless of what zone offense we're in. So, it's a recognition game when we have the ball. It's really being aware of their team, but especially those 2 players, and we have to be able to rebound. I also think that their center position, they rotate 3 players at that spot right now, and they get a lot of production in 40 minutes from that position. So there's a reason why they're playing at such a high level, and all the things that I just touched on are really, I think, a part of their success right now.
On the front here on the left.
Sean, do you remember much about going to Hutchinson and seeing Kadeem for the first time?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Kadeem Allen, the reason that we recruited Kadeem Allen is, I had an Uncle Joe, my dad's brother, who was the longtime high school football coach at New Hanover High School, lived in Wilmington, North Carolina forever, and he passed away a few years back. But Kadeem was one of my Uncle Joe's favorite kids, and he called me and told me, and then he would get on my dad about, I'm telling you, this kid, Kadeem Allen. And then ironically, we knew the coaches at Hutch Junior College as well. So I think between those 2 relationships, it allowed us to get in the door. But, I always came back to that knowing where he was from, knowing his family, knowing how far he had come, and the great things that people, like my uncle and the people in Wilmington, the people at Hutch, they always described him as a great kid and a winner, and somebody that was, against all odds for a period of time and has really risen. And, man, I tell you what, there isn't anybody that I've ever been around that has come further than Kadeem. And right now, he's just such a great leader, and he's our team's heart and soul. I always come back to this, but in college basketball, when you walk in and tell a kid, hey, I think it's in your best interest that you redshirt, and a year earlier he was the National Junior College Player of the Year, that conversation doesn't always go well. But in his case, he said, if you think that's the best, that's what I'll do. And, right now he's 2 credits from graduating, and his defense, his offense, and it's fun to watch somebody in your own program develop like him.
All right, we'll call it there. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.